Good morning, I'm John. I'm with the U.S. Sewing Machine Company. I've been doing this sewing machine business for around 45 years now. I'm a third generation sewing machine mechanic. It's in the blood, so to speak. Today we're here at Wells Upholstery and we're using what I consider the best upholstery machine you can buy on this planet, which is the PFAFF 1245. It's a big bobbin, compound feed walking foot machine with reverse. It's very dependable and reliable for you. So we like to begin by threading the machine. The golden rule of threading any sewing machine is to have the presser foot up. So we're going to put that presser foot up with the full time position with the lever so that the foot stays up by itself, and that's how we'll begin threading. We'll put the cone on the disc and we'll thread this from back to front. So everything goes back to front towards the sewer. So from here, we're going to go into this thread guide. There's 4 holes. Go in the back hole first, and then lace it back up and go in the front hole from top to bottom. This is called lacing through this thread guide. From there, it goes into the first hole on the tensioner, right to left. Lace it back through the bottom hole, right to left. Hold onto the thread with both hands and lace it through the cup. Go to the right side of the tensioner in between the 2 tension discs. Notice I'm holding onto the thread with my right hand as I lead the thread through. At about the 9 o'clock position, you'll see a pin. Go over the pin, over the top of the pin, and straight down, which will then steer you into the second disc while still holding onto the thread with your right hand. Go into the second disc and pull up so that you notch the thread into this knot. Just like this, real smooth, just like that. So now the spring's going to move like this after the thread's been notched.
Oh boy.
Steer the thread into this thread guide here, and your take-up lever should have been in the highest position. We'll take and thread the take-up lever from right to left. It comes straight down and goes into this thread guide right here. And then into here. And now you want to put the thread in this last thread guide above the needle. So now we're ready to thread the needle, but let's talk about the needle first. I'll remove the needle by loosening the screw to the left and dropping the needle straight down into the foot, and then tilt the head out. When you look and zero in on this needle and you twist it, on one side above the eye is going to be a scoop or a dent. That's called the scarf of the needle. The scarf of the needle is going to be pointing directly to the right. So as we put the needle up in, the scarf will be pointing directly square to the right. So we'll go down into the foot and then up into the needle clamp. Now if you look right here, there's an inspection window. You, the operator, must look inside that window to see the needle go into that window right there. That tells you comprehensively that the needle's all the way up. The needle may be stuck or dry, and you may think that it's up all the way, but until you physically see it with your own eyes through that inspection window, you don't know it's up. So please make sure you look through that window to make sure it's up all the way. Once it is, then you can twist the scarf directly to the right and make sure the scarf is square to the right. Hold this needle up with your left hand and tighten it with your right hand. So whenever you thread the eye of the needle, thread it from your left to your right. By the way, you should change your needle after 8 hours of use. We'll thread that eye from left to right. And now we'll load up the bobbin. I'm going to open this tab and the bobbin case comes out.
Still understanding that we're at.
The new way to remove the bobbin from the bobbin case is to lift the bobbin case up and cut the thread. Then remove the remaining bit of thread in this direction. To load up the bobbin case, you take your bobbin thread and this is the open end of the bobbin case. Hold it like that and drop your bobbin in like this with the thread on the right side of the bobbin as it comes down into the bobbin case. The thread's on the right side of the bobbin. Hold the bobbin case like this and steer the thread to your left until you reach the entry slot, and then you pull down and to the right. And you continue to pull until the thread gets behind that black spring.
What do you want to?
Then pull on it to make sure the bobbin spins, and it should spin clockwise. Leave a 5 or 6 inch thread tail,
Bad.
and we'll put the bobbin case in like this into the machine. We'll lift the tab up, insert the bobbin case, and close the tab, leaving about a 5 or 6 inch tail. Now we're ready to go fishing for that lower thread. By holding the upper thread with your left hand, turning the hand wheel towards you with your right hand. We'll take one revolution, starting with the take-up lever all the way up. We'll turn the machine towards us. One revolution and we'll stop with the take-up lever all the way there. We'll pull up on our thread and you can see we caught our fish, the lower thread. Try not to use scissors or anything else to pick this up. It's a safety issue. Try to use your fingers only, not a tool. And now we're ready to sew because we have the lower thread to the top. Close your slide cover plate and we're now ready to start sewing. One safety issue we like to emphasize: when you use scissors, use them and immediately put them down. Get the habit of using your scissors and immediately put them down. Don't keep them in your hand to do other things. All right, so we're getting ready to start sewing, and we like to always repeat that we like to start with the take-up lever in its highest position. Now we're using the knee lifter to raise and lower the foot instead of the full-time lever.
You learned me rapidly.
We'll lift that foot and we'll set it back down. We'll pinch the thread tails, top and bottom, while turning the machine 1 or 2 revolutions with our right hand to begin the stitch. And then you take a few stitches forward, reverse the stitch to lock it, and begin forward. When you get to the end, you reverse. And then an important thing is to remember, before you lift the foot, to turn the machine and get the take-up lever to its highest position. Then lift the foot and remove the work from the needle and cut the thread, because that puts you in the right position to start the next seam. So that's why we want to sew with the take-up lever in the highest position. So therefore we end with the take-up lever in the highest position. We don't look at the needle, we look at the take-up lever. So we'll come to the end and we'll reverse to lock it off. When you get to the end, have the take-up lever all the way up, lift the presser foot, remove the work, and cut the thread. Now that we've talked about the machine operation, let's talk a little bit about the knee lever to lift the presser foot. Using your knee lifter is very efficient and is less strain on your body instead of using your hand lift to lift the foot, which is kind of a workout. So if you use this knee lever, it's real easy. Your muscles are stronger in your legs. So use that knee lever, lift it up, put the fabric under there, and let it go down. Makes you more efficient and saves time. We also recommend, as you're sewing and you stop sewing, that you either take your foot off the pedal or slide your foot to the bottom of the pedal before you use a knee lift, because that way the machine will inadvertently go on its own. Now we'd like to go into some troubleshooting things in case some problems arise during your sewing day. The golden rule of operating a sewing machine is, if you're having trouble, put a new needle in. That will solve a lot of problems. In fact, over 80% of your problems that you're going to have during the day. If you have a problem and you change the needle to solve it and that doesn't pick up the problem, then you immediately rethread your machine. That is the sequence of troubleshooting on a sewing machine. It solves really up over 95% of your problems just by changing the needle and rethreading your machine. So the golden rule of rethreading your machine is to do so with the presser foot up. We recommend threading your machine full-time with the full-time presser foot up, not the knee lever. If the machine is skipping the stitches, what do? You put a new needle in. If the machine is ripping the thread and tearing the thread, then you're to change the needle. That's why changing the needle is the golden rule of using the sewing machine. It solves most problems. Don't forget, the running time on a needle is 8 hours. So change the needle after 8 hours of running time. It's a big, major problem solver. That's pretty much it for troubleshooting. All right, now that you've come to the end of your sewing day, we recommend that you put a drop of oil in the sewing hook. Open up your cover, your bobbin cover, and there are 3 screws on the gib. There's a hole next to the center screw, and just put a drop of oil in that center hole. 1 good drop is all you need. Then shut the plate. We recommend taking a bit of fabric and put it in under the presser foot and setting the presser foot down, and then sinking the needle down into that material. And don't forget to turn the machine off here at your servo control switch. And then cover up your machine and then enjoy your night off. Okay, now that we're done introducing you to the operation of the sewing machine, just remember that the sewing machine was invented to do a lot of work for you. And the more work you do, the happier your machine is. So don't think that you're overworking your machine. It wants you to stay and continue to work. Good things happen when you're at your sewing machine. Being a sewing professional is a really good profession. You get an instant sense of accomplishment. Every day you feel accomplished. And that's one of the things that people like about being an upholsterer and being a sewer. You're always being reminded that you've accomplished things all day long. In conclusion, we'd like you to get out there and do a lot of sewing. And don't forget, the golden rule of using a sewing machine is, when you have trouble, put a new needle in.